Ladies and gentlemen, in previous podcasts, we've talked about how Joanna Pettet had been a big podcast I've done on her influence on the Rod Serling series. It's the third appearance from her, and the last one in the third season, of course, has got to be The Girl with the Hungry Eyes. Now, this was considered one of the better episodes of season 3, where the majority of episodes that year were terrible. Now, this was a triumphant Night Gallery swan song and a fourth appearance for Joanna Pettet, according to David Jewell's infamous blog on Night Gallery. Now, The Girl with the Hungry Eyes was season 3, episode 2, teleplay by Robert Malcolm Young and story by Fritz Lieber Jr., directed by the great John Badham, with Night Gallery veterans James Ferrantino, Joanna Pettet, and John Astin playing the major characters, with Kip Niven as Harry Krell and Bruce Powers as a man in the street. Now, according to Jewell's site, through seemingly mysterious forces, commercial photographer David Faulkner, played by James Ferrantino, again who previously co-starred the previous year in the legendary Since Aunt Ida Came to Stay, stumbles upon a new photo subject. A mysterious young woman played by Pettet, who won't give him her name and forbids him to follow her. She is nonetheless a gorgeous and transfixing subject for his camera. Now, Pettet plays the young woman in this, her fourth and final appearance on Night Gallery, and for her many fans, particularly her male fans, it is a sort of a victory lap. It is, to many, her best performance, as she looks gorgeous and the entire story is built around her appeal. Now, David has a meeting with the owner and namesake of Munch Beer, played by the great John Astin, a veteran of Night Gallery, both acting and directing. Munch is looking for a model to appear in these beers' billboard ads, and David shows him the portfolio of headshots. Munch thumbs through them, quickly moving on to the next, searching for the right face. For whatever reason, David places Joanna Pettet's face last, causing him some anxiety as he worries that he won't have one of his photos selected. When Munch comes to the last photo, that of the girl, he knows he's found the one, or the face. Now, her face goes on billboards and gains quite a bit of notice. One man who knows it is David's friend Harry, played by Kip Niven, who visits David one evening and really wants to meet the girl, almost as if obsessed. She has that effect on men, it seems, and on David too. After he sends Harry away, disappointed, the girl emerges from the second floor of David's apartment, and she says she's going out for a bit and seeks out Harry on the sidewalk walk. Now, Harry can't believe his eyes. A look in her eyes, well, it's hard to explain, according to Joel, but we get a video effect of a greenish-colored jewel or something. In any event, it's meant to convey otherworldly evil, so despite the cheapness of the effect to many viewers, we get its intent. She then walks away with him to a nearby park, begins to give him a kiss, and he tumbles down an embankment. David saw the two of them outside, but didn't see what happened after he walked away. Late the next morning, David is awakened, hung over by a phone call, alerting him to the fact there was a murder park quite near his apartment. He takes in his newspaper and discovers the victim was his friend Harry. Now, beer magnate Munch is also obsessed with this girl, and like Harry is quite keen on meeting her. Having more power, he insists on such a meeting, but David continues to stall him, saying he can't arrange it. Munch follows her, she leaves the photo studio one night, and he ends up dead too, though we don't get a scene of this. It was because he didn't have the budget to pay John Astin for an additional day's work. Now, this was according to Scott Selton's book, Rod Serling's Night Gallery and After Hours Tour. Astin had quite a bit of wage range there. Now, in the episode one night, David does follow her and finds her seduce and kill some random guy in the street. She sees David and moves towards him with a seductive yet cold stare. She moves in for the kill or kiss, and he breaks free just before the lips meet. David runs back to his apartment, and she has somehow bet him there. The walls of his place are adorned with a vast collection of glamour shots of her, some fantastic work done in reality by a famed Hollywood photographer, Harry Langdon. Now, David begins tearing down the photos and grading a pile of them on the floor, which he begins to douse in lighter fluid. We get a sort of hysterical speech from David. I know you now. You're the eyes that pick our pockets and spend our lives. You're the lure, the bait. We lust for you, what those eyes hold out. and you suck the love from us, because that's what feeds you. So we get it all laid out for us, but still, is she some creature? Where did she come from? Is she even real? Real enough to go down in flames, it seems. David lights the pile of photos and erupts into the burning pyre. The girl catches fire too, and she bends as a photo herself, then crumples into ash. David, spent, looks at the remaining photos of the girl still on the walls and sees that her eyes are now empty white spots. No more devouring hunger in them. If this story had been a little better fleshed out, it could have been a classic for many viewers. As it is, it stands out as a Joanna Pettet fanboy highlight of the Night Gallery. Now, I watched this episode several times through the years. I had kind of some difficulty with it, and I tell you why. When you only have 5 or 6 characters in an episode, it's not fully fleshed out. If you would see her on the street and maybe as she was passing, a whole bunch of people would catch a look at her, or a craving look, even lesbian women, it will make a lot more sense. But Joanna Pettet, don't get me wrong, she's a very beautiful lady, but is she pound for pound, say like McCoy, the most beautiful actress of the early 1970s? She's up there, but you need a more buxom or a more femme fatale. She came across, for me anyway, as a beautiful lady, but kind of like a Farrah Fawcett, more beauty than body. And for me, I like a female ingenue with a little bit of body on her. I give an example. Imagine if Janet Leigh would have done the part when Janet Leigh was at her prime in the 1960s, like an Outer Limits episode, or maybe somebody like Samantha Egger, or one of the strong Australian Jenny Agutter, of course. But for many people it works, and I give it 3 stars out of 4 for the terrible episodes of 3rd season. This is not a terrible episode. Again, it's a top 4 episode of the 3rd season, and there are only 4 or 5 great episodes. But compare her with the Caterpillar. She's not ingenue in the Caterpillar. She's sort of what he call a satisfied beauty, as my dad once called her when he watched the episode of the Caterpillar. And this here, we don't know if she's a vampire. We don't know if she's an emotional vampire. All we know is that she uses her photos to draw people in, and then she kills them. So it was very open ending, but very well done. Anyway, we had 3 requests for this, my review of the episode. I'm filling all 3. But watch the episode and see the subtlety of Joanna Pettet's acting. And Ferrantino, hit and miss. It's a hit and here, but it seems like he's more confused than attracted, if that makes any sense. Pretty weird. Thanks for listening, and don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, or share other Night Gallery reviews on our podcast channel. Check them out. Have a good day. Bye.